ovation for me. Yeah, they done a wonderful job yesterday. Wonderful job. And when Elder Hill gave his remarks, he told him you wouldn't be able to go to IHOP or the diner to get a meal like that, a breakfast like that. Breakfast carried me all day long, y'all. Yeah, y'all know we sing the song, "Take the Lord God with you everywhere." But I took that breakfast, Dad, all day long. Yeah, and it wasn't until nighttime. And my wife said, "I got some spaghetti." I ate the rest of her breakfast that she had, and that did me for the rest of the night right there. So we thank God that they put him. When you cook with love, people can taste when you did it with hatred in your heart, but they cook with love. And so we thank God. And then the men came yesterday, visitors stopped in. And naturally, I wind up ministering to, some guys want to do something and they need that real objective opinion. And so I said, well, I'll catch up with you down the road. And then about 10:30, about 11 o'clock, we left here. Brother Tehran he was in the truck, and then we had the van loaded, and I had so many adult diapers and canes and crutches. Your sister wanted a cane. Is there in the conference room on the coat rack there. And so we loaded up. The young men got in the van. K. Salam, where you at? Raise your hand there. He was one of the leaders yesterday. And we went up to the nursing home. And when the lady was expecting us, because I had made arrangements, and when she called the maintenance guy, they was on lunch, so we got them off of lunch. And the man came out with a card. He said, "I only thought you had a few boxes. I didn't know you had a trailer and a truckload of stuff." Then they went to calling other people. Well, that's how God blesses. So the young men began, Mr. Pritchard, raise your hand there. Raise your hand, Bushi. And they started going, and they were carrying that stuff, and all Deacon Lee had to do was sit on a bench. He found him a bench, and he sat down. He just sat down and didn't have to do anything, and those young kids just started taking those boxes in. They filled up the people's closet, and then the receptionist had them just start putting it along all the wall outside in the reception area, and had all the wheelchairs that we had in one area. And this is how God operates. This is what God does. So we are grateful, and we were able, because they go through a lot of that stuff, and we were able to do that and to be a blessing. And God has blessed this church to be a blessing to the less fortunate and a blessing to other people. So Sister Jasmine, raise your hand, Jazzy, and Amber. Were you Amber here today? Oh, there go Amber. They went up there. They didn't want to ride in the van. They too grown, y'all, to ride in the van with us. So they went in their own car and met us there. But they got some video. Sister Kelly, you able to get the video going? Oh, she forgot. All right. She just said, oops. So we'll move on and we'll get the video going. But they took some good pictures and some videos. And this teaches the young people how to give. It teaches them what to do. And Isaiah and Chase, where you at? Raise your hand. They were on the van, sticking right there with me. And so we thank God for them. So what's that, babe? Okay, yeah, they're getting volunteer credit hours, and we want to see our young people really get out here, and I want them to make it. Now, everybody's not not fit. Everybody's not made to go to college, okay? And don't let them sell you a bill of goods that you need to go to college. But some of you are electricians, some of you are plumbers, some of you, if a man has a natural ability to do bathrooms and kitchens, and he clean shaven, he put on a uniform with his name on there, and he got a nice truck and tool, that man can make millions of dollars, because everybody wants their bathroom done and they want their kitchen done. Yeah, they don't care how to, we'll get the rest of the house down the road, but they want their kitchen right and they want their bathroom right. And but God has given people natural ability and natural talent. And when you are fair with your pricing, I tell you, you won't even have to put out a card because your name will go. People will tell somebody else, hey, get that guy, he's good. Matter of fact, he woke us up 6 a.m. banging on the door. I'm ready to work. And that's the kind of guy he is. You got to be ready when he gets here. And them people will use you. We got electricians in here, plumbers in here. We got folk that have talent to do, make a good living in this society, and you can make it. So this is what we want to continue to pour into our young people, that you can make it. You got to learn how to shift. You got to learn how to go with the wave that's going on out in this society. So just for a few moments today, and then we know Mother Smith is home, and we're praying for Elder Hill's mother had a little spell, so we're praying for them, and we're praying for you. And you that love the Lord, hold on to your salvation. Don't let the enemy rob you. Yeah, don't let the enemy steal your joy. Don't let him steal, because that devil will steal your peace. He will come in and upset your house. He will come in and have you and your husband, sister, sissy, just arguing over bottle top. You know, and then when it's all over with, y'all both standing there looking, well, why was we arguing over bottle top? But that's what the enemy does. That's what he'll do. Yo, you that are working, you pray for you go in the job, bind the devil. Do like I used to do. I would bind that devil, and then when I would get there, someone would have mothballs in their mouth. When we would have the meetings, they would couldn't open their mouth, and I would just laugh because I knew I had rebuked that enemy before I got in there, and shut the lion's mouth. So we're living in the last days. Jesus is soon to come. So today, for the last few weeks, I was talking about the power of vision. But let me read this to you. Let's stand for the reading of the word. Let's go to Mark's Gospel, the 22nd to the 26th verse. Mark 8, you got it, Elder Hill. Mark 8 and the 22nd. This is going to tie into what I want to talk about. And then we're going to have communion. We're going to pay our bills, and then we're going to let you go. All right. Ready, Elder Hill?
The Bible says in Mark 8:22, and he cometh to Bethesda, and they bring a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him. And he took him, the blind man, by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes and put his hands upon him, he asked if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. And after that he put his hands up again upon his eyes and made him look up, and he was restored and saw every man clearly. And he sent him to his house, saying, neither go into the town nor tell it to anyone in the town.
All right, you may be seated. In this story, we know last week, for the last couple weeks, I'm talking about vision. And you might say, Pastor, why you want to keep talking about vision? Well, there would be no Walt Whitman Bridge, no Ben Franklin Bridge. There would be no big buildings if a man, whether he was saint or sinner, there would be no pyramids of Egypt. There'd be no Leaning Tower of Pisa. There'll be no in Paris. What is that? The Eiffel Tower. If there was no one with vision, there would be no Chesapeake Bay, the tunnels, 19 miles, over water. There would be no 20-mile, if you go to Louisiana, going over Lake Pontchartrain, and when you leave the land, it's just nothing but a bridge, and it's just water on both sides, trying to get to the other side for 20 miles. But if someone didn't have a vision, we wouldn't be able to experience if it weren't, for the founders that, thought that we could fly like a bird. They would put wings on them. I saw that on Nova. They would put wings on their back to try to jump off of cliffs. They was breaking legs, arms, and everything, because they knew that if they could just harness the wind, they would fly. And then they came out, and invented the plane. But if someone didn't have a vision, it wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't even have charcoal. Y'all know how we use the Kingsford charcoal. And Kingsford charcoal is a byproduct of making a car. And you would say, making a car? Yeah, because when Henry Ford started making his Model T, the rims were wood. The rims were wood, and they would make the wooden rims, and at the end they would always have a small piece of wood left, and it began to stack up, and it stacked up, and they showed how it was just mounds of wood. So somebody threw some in the furnace one day, it got black, and they pulled it out, and they let it cooled off, and then they relit it again to heat up their lunch or whatever, and that's how Kingsford charcoal came into. And then he kept making cars, but he found another avenue to make some more money, putting it in a bag, putting Kingsford on there, and King of Ford, and that's how they start making Kingsford charcoal. Why? Because someone had a vision. I told you before that Mrs. Mears, you go into the Acme shop, right, and you see Miss Mears pies, the frozen pies. They got pumpkin.